I'm here with Michael Morton, author of Getting Life, an Innocent Man's 25-Year Journey from Prison to Peace. And before we went to break, I brought up a gentleman's name, Ken Anderson. Tell me about Ken.
Mr. Anderson was the district attorney in Williamson County when I was charged and convicted. While I was in prison, he became a state district judge. His claim to fame now is that he went through a court of inquiry, which is a pretty unusual procedure in Texas. But at the end of the day, the thing that he's known for now is suppressing exculpatory evidence in my case that, if revealed, probably would have prevented my conviction.
And what was some of that evidence?
There were several very interesting pieces of evidence that he kept from me and the jury and the lawyers and the press. Reports of a man basically casing our house, my wife's credit card being used after her death, a curious check that was cashed, but more importantly, what's been called the monster transcripts. It's a phone conversation between my son, my son's grandmother and the chief investigator of the case, Comes down to is that it's a recording of my son witnessing my wife's murder.
And you were nowhere in that picture?
Part of that transcript, my son is asked if I was there, and my son says no.
Oh, goodness. Well, 25 years in prison, and of course the Innocence Project gets involved. This information comes out, this exculpatory evidence comes out, and you're able to get out of jail. What's life like for you now?
Nothing like I expected. One of the things that got me going right after I got out was that I didn't want what happened to me to happen to anybody else. And I got a lot of help, and we got a new law passed. And right now my life consists of trying to get ready to defend that law in the next session at the legislature, and promoting my book, and accepting and turning down speaking engagements. And I've rediscovered fishing, and I try to relax a little bit by just throwing a line in the water. It's very therapeutic.
I love it. Of course, you're remarried, and you've developed a wonderful relationship with your son, Eric, who for a while didn't want to have anything to do with his dad while he was sitting in prison. Is that right? Yeah,
and I think it's understandable. The people raising him, and my son as well, thought that I'd killed his mother. But now, we have a very normal relationship. We see each other semi-regularly. He has 2 children. I'm a grandfather now, so it's very nice. It's very nice.
That's so cool. Tell me a little bit about the law that you've passed, that you're discussing.
Stunned me beyond. I thought it would be a long slog. I thought it'd be a real battle. But what somebody else named the Michael Morton Act sailed through the Senate and the House unanimously. Not a single person voted against it, and the governor brought it up to be signed, very first bill of the last session. And it basically just requires that prosecutors adhere to Brady. Brady is just a law that says you have to turn over exculpatory evidence. And
Isn't that crazy? You need a law to make sure that people are adhering to the law.
Exactly. It provides a mechanism.
Sure.
And they must provide exculpatory evidence before the trial, during the trial, and after the trial. And they sign a form that goes into each court record to make them liable.
And of course, DNA is so important in your exoneration as well, correct? And we hear about that a lot these days, DNA being responsible for exoneration.
Yeah, and it's not a done deal. It's always changing. It's always being improved. There are always scientific tweaks, the way they're being able to extract more and more information all the time. And it's an amazing process, and it can literally change lives.
Well, I thank you for sharing your experience, and you've got to check out this book, Getting Life, because amazingly he managed to forgive Ken Anderson, which is such a testimony to how wonderful this gentleman is. And thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, we'll be back with more broadcast right after this.